Time to talk business with our partners 2 Degrees. By 4 o'clock today, we should know how much extra the US will charge our exporters. Business Desk Garth Bray is here this morning for business news. Good morning.
Morning, Ryan. Checking my watch here.
Yeah, so it's by 4 p.m. We
Yeah.
may actually find out sooner, but by 4 p.m. we're going to know some answers.
But we haven't heard yet. I checked with Foreign Affairs and with the Trade Minister's office just in the last little while. The team in Washington have been advised of this, 4:01 it kicks into gear, or that's a minute after midnight in the US. But they are still waiting for the content of this letter, and I mean, as one of your earlier interviews was talking about, there's a lot of sort of anxious concern there, but people working out how they're going to manage whatever comes their way. We've heard that Canada is looking on the nose at the moment. Trump's brought Palestine into the equation, saying, well, if you recognise Palestine's statehood, along with the UK and France are talking about doing in September, it would make it very hard for us to do a deal. So they could be on the nose for 35%, just to sort of cobble the issues all together.
And the Mexicans have got a stay of execution. Yeah,
90-day, a bit like probably we'll expect to hear China confirmed later. Besant was the Treasury Secretary saying we're close, but we're not quite there. A bit of concern, I think, around kill switches and some of the chips that NVIDIA is shipping to China at the moment. There's been a bit of a please explain about that.
Rest of the world will know by 4 o'clock.
Yeah, but this whole signing bonuses thing is interesting, though. This is the sort of $1 trillion that the EU's promising it would invest into the US, and the 600 million, I think, that the Japanese and South Koreans and so on.
Plus, we'll buy your Boeings and we'll buy your oil.
Yeah, but a bit of probing on that, because they're saying, the other side is saying, no, that's not like us guaranteeing that. That's saying we'll encourage our companies to invest, and we're not necessarily, some of those are loan guarantees, so it's not like you're going to get 90% of the profits like Trump is saying. So the devil is in the detail, and my word, there are a lot of details.
A lot of details, a lot of T's and C's on those trade deals, which have been cobbled together in the space of weeks, a lot of them. Yeah. Now, back home, Treasury's been looking at flood insurance. Obviously, we have a lot of them, and houses are affected, infrastructure affected. What are they actually looking at?
Look, this is sort of a long-term look at, first of all, they were starting out looking at infrastructure, and our reporter Greg Hurrell was across the call yesterday just listening in, but there was some interesting chat there. Things like the idea that we've got like 900 bridges on our state highway network that are more than 80 years old. Now you try and insure something really old that's over a river that floods. This is all going to get really, really complicated and expensive. And then into the picture, we've got this increasing problem with flood risk around coastal zones. This expert was saying, look, 30 to 40% overvaluation in some areas on property values. That's people buying and selling houses on the coast now that are paying way too much considering the risk. And talking about things like, if you have a 1 in 100 year coastal flooding risk, that basically means if you've got a 30-year mortgage, there's a 27% chance that you're going to have a flood event, right? You could be paying $7,000 in the next 30 or 40 years just for flood insurance. And maybe there's an argument that as insurers step back out of that, the government will have to try and pick it up. Otherwise,
pick up the slack.
Yeah.
Hey, very quickly, the recycling campaign that we were meant to hear about, we're not going to hear about. It's been put in the bin.
Yes, this is just a little dig from our reporter Cecile Meyer, who found out that the government spent $200,000 getting ready to roll out a campaign. This is the 1, 2, 5 thing. So I'm doing my bit for them at the moment. If your plastic's got a 1, a 2 or a 5 in it, you're meant to be able to recycle it everywhere. And they were going to spend about $1.6 million on a 6-week campaign to run that out. They spent $200K of it to get ready, and then, we're February last year, no, we're not going to do that anymore. So the campaign kind of went in the bin, and recycling rates went down. Should have advertised. I think they did it on social media.
So we were 200 in the can. That's money sunk.
That's money sunk, and there was a saving, I suppose, because they decided
we
not
would have
to
saved
spend the
1.4.
Well, but except recycling,
Yeah, but I mean.
It pays to advertise. You can't just chuck a couple of posts on social media.
I suppose.
This is the modern dilemma.
So what were they going to tell us? The difference between different types of plastic? See, there was
a plan to get it everywhere, okay? All councils were going to have to do 1, 2 and 5, which is the little numbers that are inside the triangle. You've got to take your glasses off to read them and get a magnifying glass out.
Can I make a confession? Never looked at a piece of plastic.
You've never
figured out what its number is.
You've never recycled in your life, have you?
Well, no, I put stuff in the recycling bin. I didn't know.
You have no idea if it's meant to be there or not.
No. Well, I mean, you within reason. But I haven't looked at the numbers on it before.
Right.
Maybe we do need this campaign.
Well, I'll brief you later.
Thanks so much. Garth Bray, Business Desk. Thanks to our partners 2 Degrees. It is 17 away from 8.